I just made profits on a Moderna trade. Let me show you how I made the money. Now, if you come over here to my screen, you can see on Moderna that we have had a very interesting run over time. So if we just zoom out here, you can see that Moderna has gone for a wild, wild ride. Big time up, big time down. Now we are capitalizing on almost, if we go back to 2020, 2019, look where we were at. We had these bottoms right in here. And these bottoms are really telling me where I can exit, where I can enter a trade. Why? Because they're showing me different levels of support and resistance. And that is very important when making trades when you're at the bottom of a chart. And by bottom of a chart, I mean really bottom of support levels that date back years and years and years. So if we come back to this, we can see, look at this. If this is our 2019 level, let's go there. We can run it all the way across here and look where we are, right in this area. So let's zoom into it and see exactly what the trade was. Well, when things were starting to break down, I actually caught a lot of this. If you go back and you see different videos, I caught a lot of this, but now we're getting to the bottom of the trade. Now, there is money to be made down here, and you can see that we had 3 nice engulfing candlesticks. But what do you notice about this? Where's our trend? Well, our trend is not in here. Our trend is all the way at the bottom. This is a dog stock. What exactly is a dog stock? It is a stock that is at the bottom of the stochastic that nobody's really paying attention to. And what happens when you get to the bottom of a stochastic? Well, the price just keeps going lower and lower and lower. It's converse to a power stock. So if we come to a power stock, let's say we're up here. What happens when we're in a power stock? Well, as we go sideways up here, what happens to the price? It goes higher and higher and higher. If we're in a dog stock, which is on the bottom, what happens? It just goes lower and lower and lower. That's something that we can capitalize on. So in this little area right here, I was able to take a position. Now, I wasn't able to take a full position in this trade. And I think that's something very important for people to hear. When I execute a trade, especially a long-term trade, and I have this chart up because I want to show you the moving averages, but my trade was made over on this chart. I wasn't able to get a 100% position. So for me, I tend to put in $100,000 into any trade, but I always start with 20,000. 20% goes into the trade, and then we decide what we're going to do from there. This chart dictates it. So let's say right here, I had an engulfing candlestick right in there. I was able to put $20,000 into the trade, right? That's great. Now, once I'm in, I look for another opportunity to add money, and I'll add the rest of the trade, which is about $80,000. I did not find that opportunity. So what did I do? Well, I ended up letting it run, taking profits down in here. And why am I taking profits? Because let's zoom out again. Let's get rid of the swing trading chart and zoom this all the way out and really draw in some tight lines here so you can really see where these support levels were. So if we go, let's try to fit this into the frame. Perfect. Oh, it was perfect right there. So if we put our crosshairs in, we got into it right in here. You can't really see it. This was kind of the bottom. And if you come all the way back here, it was in 2020. It was right during COVID. Now, when we were in this thing during COVID, let's zoom in and see exactly what we were looking at. See that gap that happened right there? That's what we're talking about right there. It was April 15th, 16th, 2020. And some of you might be looking and going, Mo, why are we going back to 2020? Because it does play a pivotal role. Right before that, look what you had here. You had a top right there. You had 3 areas. It ran up, it fell back down. It ran up a few weeks later, it fell back down. It ran up again and hit that same level and fell back down. We finally got through that level here, but this is a very important spot. It's at the same level we were sitting. So if now we go back to 2024, you're at that level that I just drew back in 2020. Why is that important? It's important because there's not a lot of room to go below that. With that being said, so you had the 20% position, right? Got in with 20%. Didn't have the opportunity to add the additional full position. And that is something so important. Guys, don't force things to happen. If you have a plan going into something and saying, every time I start a position on a long-term chart, I add 20%. Don't just go in and say, well, I don't see a lot of opportunity here, so I'm just going to add 100. I'm just going to put in my full position. No, stick to your plan. And if it doesn't work out completely, you're probably still going to make money. You're just not going to make as much. And that's something that I really, really want to drive home in this teachable moment. You need to stick to your plan. And if you don't get the opportunity, if the chart doesn't give you the opportunity to execute the trade to the fullest of your financial capabilities, whatever you want to call it, then you don't do it. Now, what did I do after that? Well, I got in here, I let this thing run down to here, I took my profits, and then I waited and I waited. And I was really hoping that this thing was going to drop again, obviously, and get below here. I stayed in this trade for a long time. Added some money in later, probably right around here, made a little bit more, took some profits in here, but I never got the opportunity to really add my full position. Why? Because I wanted to break this level right here. I didn't get the opportunity to break that level. Now, what was ideal for me to see in this trade? What would my ideal trade have been? So let me just go here and zoom this out. I thought that, let's see our whiskers here. I thought that we were going to be able to, let's draw this line right there. And then we're kind of right there. I thought we were going to be able to get down to here. That was my goal. My goal was we were going to break this pink line that I drew and get down into this area right around here. But what happened? Resistance held up. We were able to hold above this 2020 level. Again, I'm going back to 2020 because it's so important to understand that's how strong support and resistance can be. I'm just looking at another thing on this chart. This doesn't have anything to do with this trade, but I want to show you the power of support and resistance. Look at this right here. Here's your kind of top. You went through COVID, crazy, but look at this. It's kind of all this same level. Even here, it's a little bit lower, but it's about that same level. Then if you look at the bottoms, same level. Consolidation in here. Here was that same level. Here was that same level. So you see how strong going back to 2022. 2021 was kind of a wash, but going into end of 2021 into 2020, you can kind of see where we sat. It was all at that same level with the exception of the big pop that happened in 2020, 2021, whatever it was. The idea behind me telling you this is it's important to understand where those support resistance levels are, and you base your trade off of where those are at. Now, when you're in something like this, where do you exit? Where exactly did I exit this trade? Well, this trade to me, I actually got kind of bored with. That's why I exited this thing. I exited on Friday, right in here. It was a doji. And on my live stream, I actually said to the community, I said, I'm probably going to exit this on Thursday, Friday. I was thinking about exiting here. I ended up exiting right here. Why? It's just exhausting. It was exhausting to be in. It was not going to break out of this consolidation area. It was very clearly not going to break down below this in the immediate future. Was the trend still there? Yes, the trend was still there. Now, if we pull up the swing trading chart, where were we at? Let's see where we were. So we were sitting here, just kind of hovering on top of the 25 and the 50-day moving average. Volume was light. It was nothing really going on. And that's where and why I exited the trade. To me, the juice was not worth the squeeze. I have found other positions that I haven't gotten in them yet, but there's other positions that I'm looking at saying, I could probably better allocate capital here. Therefore, I am wound up exiting the trade. Now, some of you may be asking, where did I find a trade like this? Well, this was actually a trade that I found from the community. Community members often share ideas, and many times they share them on the live stream. I take those ideas, I run with them, and I execute trades with them just like everybody else does. Guys, right now the community is $35 a month. It's on Patreon. You have full access to me. You have full access to the community who consistently shares these ideas with each other. We had a private live stream this morning and we bounced 4 or 5 ideas off of each other. I am primed right now to probably get into 3 or 4 more positions within the next probably 5 or 6 trading days. It is a great place to be. I invite you to join. The link is in the description below. Now, I made a full course video on everything that you need to know about trading. It is a multi-hour course. It's chaptered. Anything you need to know and everything you need to know is there. Go check it out.